In this edition of Fantasy by the People, we asked you all, the people, what are some of the worst narratives in fantasy football? But first I want to address something right off the bat. Let's talk about what actually is a narrative, because some of you seemed a little confused by your responses to the handle. Merriam-Webster literally defines a narrative as a way of presenting or understanding a situation or series of events that reflects and promotes a particular point of view or a view on a set of values. Some of these things that you sent, like, oh, Jerick McKinnon is worth a third-round pick, that was a bad narrative. No, that's an opinion. It's not a story. There's a difference. Please learn it. Like this guy at Moderate AZ, who says his entire team was designed around bad narratives, like Melvin Gordon, poor yards per carry. That's not a narrative, bro. That's just a fact. Mike Evans, bad quarterback play. Again, not a narrative. Joe Mixon, no front line. Also, not a narrative. These are just opinions. There's a difference. Try to keep up. Now let's get into it. First one comes up from at Maxwell Morley. He says, revenge game, and he has this nice gif along with it. So I guess this is him exasperated by the revenge game. Look, I'll be honest with you, I tweet about revenge games all the time, and it's mostly a joke. Remember, fantasy is fun. Being on the internet together is supposed to be kind of a fun activity, even though we mostly hate it all the time. So let's have a little fun together and talk about the revenge games. Again, I know most of the time it doesn't really matter, but we're just trying to have a little fun here. Next. This one comes in from at Levi Chappelle or Chapel. Good question. Who knows? Who's to say? Short wide receivers can only play in the slot. My guy. Is there really anybody actually still pushing this narrative? Antonio Brown is like 5'10" and is the best receiver in the league. Odell Beckham's sub 6 foot, gets open against everybody. If people still think this way, they're chumps. This one comes in from at gem_minor11. Would love to know how you got that one. Talent will win out. See Aaron Jones. Love this one. Hate that narrative. Hate the talent will win out narrative. What is talent? Who decides who is or is not talented? And can you please show me proof that it always wins out? Because again, Aaron Jones, perfect example, it doesn't. We spend all this time on fantasy Twitter complaining about NFL coaches and their bad decision making, and then people have the audacity to say, oh, talent will just win out, as if these coaches won't make the wrong decisions literally all the time. Please, next. This one comes in from at Marcus G, who I think works for, one of those little up-and-coming mom-and-pop type fantasy sites. He says this is the Devontae Parker breakout year. Love it. Because it's probably not the Devontae Parker breakout year. This one comes in from at John Bridges 9. Player X is in a contract year. Yeah, this one has let us down many times before. Maybe players crank it up on the try-hard-o-meter if they're in their contract year, but it probably doesn't work universally. And certainly it's not something that you should make your entire decision in a fantasy football sense on. But we're gonna hear this one forever. I mean, I guarantee you, big media will never let this one go. Am I big media? Is this big media? This one comes in from at Red6. It's got 2 D's in the red. That the Patriots backfield is impossible to predict for fantasy. They've been churning out running back gold for the last 5 seasons or so. Perfect one. Yeah, the Patriots running back narrative is hard to figure out. That one is so stupid. You know who thinks that? Sheep. You know who doesn't think that? All the people that win their fantasy championships with Dion Lewis last year, with Rex Burkhead last year, with LeGarrette Blount back when he led the NFL in touchdowns, with James White as a super sleeper in PPR this year. Give me a break. Awful narrative. Keep drafting Patriots running backs. Do the work to try to figure it out week by week and win championships. Next. Last one. This one comes in from at KHFlight137. They didn't draft him that high not to use him. Rashad Penny. Your thoughts? Yeah, the draft capital narrative does get us into trouble sometimes. Look, again, we can't always follow these paths because teams are varying case by case, especially Seattle, who loves to emphasize both competition and making bad decisions. So they take a running back in the first round. Did not mean they were going to use him. That guy's like third on the depth chart now behind Chris Carson and Mike Davis. So no, the draft capital narrative doesn't always work out. We would be wise to take that on a case by case basis. So good call. Mr. Release the Kraken. So that's it for our worst fantasy narratives, and my God, there were some really bad ones. Let's just all try to be smarter together, and the great way to do that is to follow us on Twitter at Yahoo Fantasy, to follow me on Twitter at MattHarmon_BYB, and of course, subscribe to the Yahoo Sports YouTube page, where you get content like this all NFL season to help you be better in fantasy and so much more.